Alright guys, what we're going to be doing today is the first oil change on my Bobcat T66. I currently have 100 hours on this machine. Bobcat changed their maintenance intervals. They no longer say it's required to do an oil change at the first 50 hours like they did on their previous machines. Now it just says every 750 hours or 12 months. Well, I think it's a good idea to change the oil in a new engine early on. My original plan was to do it at 50 hours like the previous machines, but I couldn't. It was tied up on a job site. So I'm doing it today at 100 hours. It's pretty straightforward of a job. There's a plate under here that needs to be removed. There's 4 bolts to take it off. The oil filter has been relocated. Let me make sure we can see here. You look right there, that white label. And then there's a hose down there. I got it facing up right now. I'll end up rerouting that through the hole in the floor down there to drain it. Now the tools needed: the oil wrench, a 16mm socket, that's to take those 4 bolts off on the pan down there, 7/8 wrench, and a crescent wrench. You use that to remove the nut on the end of that hose. There's a nut that's part of the hose. I'll use that. I'll hold it with this crescent wrench, and then I'll use this to remove the actual nut itself. If you have an impact socket wrench ratchet, makes it a little easier. It's not necessary. Those bolts come out pretty easy. I use this bristle brush to clean off the bolt heads. As you can tell, the bottom of my machine was pretty muddy. And then of course an oil pan and some rags, because no matter what I do, it's guaranteed I'm going to make a mess. Also, I'm going to get a little Tupperware container. You can see, Bobcat has these filters facing basically straight up and down. This one, at least they put a little bit of a drip pan. I'm using my phone for a light, but it doesn't come out far enough. I don't know why they didn't extend that like another couple inches just to come past the what is that, the starter? Yeah, so it could come out past the starter. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little piece of Tupperware. I'm going to sneak it out of the kitchen. It's going to be a covert mission, because if my wife sees me, it won't be good. But I'm going to get a piece. I use the cheap stuff, nothing fancy, no Pyrex. I'm going to cut a little notch in it, and I'm going to use it to catch whatever oil spills out, because I don't want the oil running all over the starter there. I just let the machine warm up, get up to like operating temperature. Anyone who's ever changed oil from this type of setup, not just the Bobcat, but anything that has a hose like that, generally they drain real slow. So you want the oil to be warm so it'll drain a little faster. So I let it run for about 10 minutes. I'm going to let it drain, and then actually while it's draining, I'm going to run to the dealer and pick up the filter. It's not that far away. It's like 20 minutes away. So by the time I get back, I'll know it'll be nice and drained, and I'll be able to swap the filter and finish everything up. I suspect there will be some dirt coming out of here. And I went ahead and used the regular ratchet to break these free. I didn't know how tight they were going to be. I only have half a battery on this right now. Oh, yeah, there's a little bit of mud. Not too bad. So you take this whole plate off, and there's only 2 holes really. There's one hole here, one hole here. Let's see if I can grab that hose. I think I got it. Yep, I have it. There she is. All right, scoot this over. Use a Crescent wrench here just to grab the one side. Oh yeah, that was tight. Let's see, okay, she's loose. The oil pan under here. You guys can see that. I have another oil pan in the yard, but this one will work fine. It's like I said, it's not going to come out too fast. There it is. That's about how slow it's going to go. I propped the backside up on that wrench so at least it'll all run towards that hole. Actually, you know what? That's flowing pretty good. Faster than I expected, to be honest. It's not real hot, it's warm. I thought it was going to be hotter too, but just got back from the dealer. Turns out it's just 10W30. They say that's what the machines come with, filled from the factory, and that's what they service all their fleet with. So I'm sticking with the 1030. You can see here it takes 9.7 quarts, so that's basically a 2.5 gallon jug. This is 10 quarts, so almost the whole thing. One thing I forgot to mention when I was showing the tools that we need is a good funnel, a long funnel. If you have a short stubby one, it's not going to reach in here very easily. So you want to get a little bit of a longer one to get down in there. And I aborted the mission to steal a piece of Tupperware, and I used the old juice bottle, the bottom one. I cut it on the edge here, a little notch as you can see, so I'll be able to slide it underneath that little drip pan. Hopefully you can see there. So I'm going to loosen this with my wrench, and then I'll unscrew it by hand, and then I'll quickly try to flip it over. Hopefully I don't make a big mess. I have paper towels here just in case things don't go as planned. We'll give it a shot. I'll try to do this one-handed. Once I get this loose, I should be able to. Alright. Alright. Gave it about a half a turn with the wrench. Now I'm going to get the rest by hand. Hopefully I don't make a huge mess. We'll see how much oil starts coming out. Oh yes, still some went back by the motor. Okay, some drip down, but it looks like a decent amount is making its way into that catch pan. You see in there, shine a light so we can see how much of a mess I made. Should have a flashlight out here, but I don't. Let's see. Okay. I see a little bit dripped on the head of that bolt, but that's not too bad. Looks like the rest of it pretty much went in. Good. I want to take this out as carefully as possible. Lean it back some. There we go. Alright, so there's that. Try not to spill it all over the driveway. I'll get back there with this paper towel. Just clean it up. Clean it up the rest of the way. That wasn't too bad. The other ones, the older machines, well, not even older, I should say. My other Bobcat was a 2018, and you know the motor is turned, and then that oil filter's right here on the side. But they didn't put that little drip pan in there, so you know you kind of had to do something on your own. Try not to spill it all over the place. But this one, they put this in. Probably because it's a little more difficult to reach, but it's still not bad. It's not that bad to get to. Everything's cleaned up. So what I like to do before I start putting in all the oil, the final fill up, I'll dump a little bit of new oil through. We'll wait to see until some comes out. If it comes out, I should say. I didn't dump that much in. Dump a little bit more. There we go. We can see a little bit coming out. I see it pulling around there. Okay, I'm gonna let that come out for another second, then I'm gonna cap it off, and then I'll fill it up. Alright, I like to mark the filters, the date and hours that I replaced it. Ready to install this. Just going to get a little bit of clean oil on my finger here and wipe it around this gasket. Bring it in here, back to our spot. There we go. So it's just at a little bit of an awkward angle. It's up and back towards you. For a second, I was thinking that the guy gave me the wrong filter. I wouldn't have been too happy about. Yeah, alright, that's it. Kind of just get it as tight as you can with your hand. Yep. That's good. Now, let's see what we have over here. I want to make sure I want to clean these threads off a little bit before I just screw this back on. I mean, granted, it is at the bottom of the hose, and that oil's probably never even going to go anywhere, but It'll help me sleep at night, so I'm going to do it. I guess some of that new oil is still making its way out. I dumped in there. So that's on. This wrench on here. There you go, nice and tight. Alright, so basically I'll just tuck that hose back in there. I'm going to clean that plate off a little bit and then bolt it back on. And then fill it up with about 10 quarts. I'll probably put 9 in, then run it for a minute, let it warm up, then let it sit and check it and see where it's at, because it says 9.7. I dumped a little bit in to flush out the old stuff. There's probably still some residual, and then who knows if I got, you know, every ounce of the old stuff out anyway. Could be little pockets in the motor somewhere. So I don't want to overfill it. That's why I'll just put the 9 in and see where it gets me. But thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, you know, please check out my other videos, and subscribe to the channel.